Hi YouTube! How do you guys feel about TikTokers over here? Are we chill? Because if you haven't heard, our app's getting banned.
Now I'm panicking.
Don't panic.
No, I am, because I'm going to lose my job.
My whole bit over on TikTok is every day I get tagged in videos or articles that give me new reasons not to have kids, and I add those to my list, which is comically long, very educational, and at times utterly terrifying. I also have this whole thing where everyone thinks I'm secretly pregnant all the time, which I don't know how those things ended up overlapping, but here we are. Basically, I'm a proud, crazy cat lady, and I remind people why having kids is not all that it's cracked up to be. Are we caught up to speed? Cool. Because we need to talk about this. This is Eliana, and she recently learned that she's pregnant. One of the very first symptoms of pregnancy is often something called hyperemesis gravidarum, also known as morning sickness. It's something we see all the time in movies and television that is usually used to give the audience a clue that a character might be pregnant. But here's the problem I have with that. Bella looks way too stunningly gorgeous in this clip. I hope I'm not exposing myself too much here, but I have never looked like that while I was puking. She doesn't even bother to pull her hair back, which, by the way, is perfectly curled. Even though, girl, I know your hair does not look like that after the night I know you just had with Edward. Pregnancy is often romanticized and glamorized in popular media, but this is not an accurate representation of morning sickness, okay? Unfortunately, this is more accurate. Eliana is struggling with severe morning sickness, and something that can happen to you when you're throwing up too much for too long is you can pop the blood vessels in your eyeballs. And that's what happened to her. She had a bad bout of nausea, threw up, and then when she looked in the mirror, this is the face that was staring back at her, which is probably the scariest thing that can possibly happen to a person. Like, imagine waking up one morning, it's 7 a.m., you're half asleep, stumbling to the bathroom to pee, and when you get up to wash your hands, you discover that at some point overnight, you've transformed into Sasuke. So Eliana wakes up straight out of an anime and makes this video, which goes instantly viral. Not only because it's terrifying, but also because it's really cool. Like, we have to acknowledge, if it was Halloween, this would be the coolest costume ever. Unfortunately, this is not a costume. This is her reality. She's done a few follow-up videos explaining that it doesn't hurt, it just feels like there's hair stuck in her eyes all the time, and they're really irritated, which is almost worse. We've all had something stuck in our eye that we just can't seem to get out, and we all know it's one of the most uncomfortable feelings in the world. And that's what Eliana is dealing with constantly. This actually isn't the first time I've seen something like this in my long career of being horrified about different pregnancy symptoms. About a year ago, this mom went viral for sharing this video from her hospital bed after she had just given birth. Turns out she had pushed too hard when giving birth to her 10-pound baby and popped a bunch of blood vessels in her face. And this isn't uncommon. I found a bunch of women online who had experienced this to varying degrees during pregnancy and childbirth. It's generally harmless and goes away within 2 weeks, but it's a perfect way to ruin those perfectly posed first pictures with baby. I'm thinking of those influencer moms that do a full face of makeup so they look pretty while they're pushing. And to each their own, but no amount of makeup would be able to cover something like that up. And for that reason, I'm not having kids. I like my eyes the way they are, and if I ever want to look like that, I'll just buy colored contacts at an anime convention. You can read the full list of reasons why I'm not having kids on my Substack. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to take your birth control.